Welcome to the Squad Games Podcast. Squad Games Podcast.
Bro, I just watched The Boys.
Tell me about it.
Season 4. My God, I love that show. I mean, it's not just season 4. It's just everything. It's just so good. There's so many good bits. It's just a great show. I really enjoy it.
I'm going to get to it at some point. I mean, they're ending it with season 5. So like, but who knows when season 5 will come out. So I'm not going to hold off to season 5. I'll probably start sooner than later.
Yeah. Also their spin-off shows have been quite good for it. So I've been enjoying that. But speaking of things happening this week, I think episode 5 of that drops this week or next week. I have no idea. But we're going to do our Eisenhorn book club chat halfway through the first book. I think Wednesday night.
Yep. So you can share your thoughts there.
Should
on
be fun.
Discord. So if you haven't joined yet, you can do so. The link is in the description.
All right, everyone. Don't forget, LVO tickets have gone on sale. They are out in the wild, and we want to get... Kicker is giving us 200 tickets to buy 4 Kill Team, competitive, and 24 for narrative. Narrative sold out within 2 weeks last year. So if you want a narrative ticket, I would get it ASAP. If you guys want a championship one, we're going to be doing something very similar to next year. We don't know what the meta is going to look like in 10 months. So we're going to decide terrain and that kind of stuff more, but we're going to have a pod A and a pod B, and then they're going to sort into each other on day 3. And it's going to be 9 rounds as it was last year as well. A lot of people really liked it. But we want to sell as many tickets as early as possible so that we can maintain that 200. And we also want to break the record again. We set the record last year. We want to break it again. And we want to have the biggest kill team on planet Earth. And we're only able to do that if the community comes together and all travels to this event. So if you guys want to come and be a part of history, please come out. We're going to have a blast. It's going to be a ton of fun. And we're even in the talks with Frontline Gaming to run a Hobby Highlander live on Friday night. Been talking to Sheldon to run the cameras while we have speakers set up so the audience can hear us, and a projector screen so that people can see us painting. So hopefully we can make that to come to fruition as well. So if you guys don't want to go see Siegfried and Roy or Britney Spears, in Vegas, you can come and watch a Hobby Highlander live, which is where we test paints so that you don't have to.
Heck yeah.
Another thing, here's a little bit of spice. Everyone kept telling me like Brood Brothers aren't that good.
Did you slap him in the face?
No, it's just like, that's what everyone keeps telling me. They're like, oh, actually they're not that good. And it's like, well, if you look at a tournament that just happened this past weekend. I think it was Can You Roll a Crit was running it. The Goonhammer Open in London.
Lol.
Guess who took first and second and 8th and 10th out of 32 players?
The new hot team, of course.
Yeah, Brood Brothers.
Who really thinks they're not good?
I can't name names. I'm not going to out people. It's just people.
I'm just thinking all right, Vetguard was already pretty good. And we know that there's a history of Horde teams doing well. And this is just a Horde team that's been turned up to 12, they have so many options. Their toolkit's incredible. What do you do? Even with the low, number of games, the fact that there's still that many games with them this early and that they're doing so well is that's a tale of they're probably still going to keep doing well for a while.
When Mandrakes first came out, Mandrakes had a much higher win rate than this team. So we could easily see this team dropping in win rate when more people start playing the team, because the team is difficult to run. right? It is very difficult to run.
Sure, but it's still going to probably be above what you think. Like, I think still above like 53%, which is very high.
Well, it's just essentially VetGuard on crack with really easy secondaries. Like the reason why VetGuard didn't win every event before is because it was really difficult to score secondaries. You could not always score your secondaries. And if you scored your secondaries, you were probably already going to win the game anyways, because that's how security works. This team gets infiltration, security, and seek and destroy.
Jesus.
Which is really freaking easy, you know? And if you know which operatives to take, the Magus, you know, you're going to do really, really well. Yeah, it's just interesting. Today, we are expecting the balanced data slate, or I am expecting the balanced data slate to come out sometime this week or next week. If GW doesn't, it's definitely going to be a feels bad moment, I think, for the community, as in 3 days from the recording of this episode, I think Thursday, the June 27th will mark about 90 days since we had our last one. So, or maybe it could be more than 90 days. I don't know. But the last one was released on March 27th. It's June 24th right now. So we're going to, we have the statistics pulled up in front of us from this. You know, we're not going to go full deep dive into stats. If you want to catch that, you'll have to catch the meta watch that we do over on YouTube. You can look up Squad Games Meta Watch. We do it twice a data slate, once at the beginning to see if Games Workshop, their buffs and nerfs actually hit home, like what should happen. And once in the middle of the data slate to see how's the meta shifting, right? And how is it looking so far?
Right.
Interesting thing, at the beginning of the last data slate, do you remember which two teams you thought were gonna be performing the best outside of the teams that we knew existed? So let's not include Brood Bros, Hearthkin Jaegers, Mandrakes, and Nemesis Claw.
I mean, we predicted, or at least you could kind of look at some of the writing on the wall with the changes. Pathfinders was an easy one. Gellerpox was still really good, so that was never going to be one that I was going to doubt. And Wormblade made a kind of a comeback. Those are like three I would have thought would have been like, these guys are going to hit somewhere nearby the top. Yeah,
my initial intuition was like, I think Wormblade and Gellerpox are S tier. And then the new teams came out and shook up the meta a little bit. And I will say, I think we have a good thumb on the pulse, because those are the only two teams outside of Brood Brothers and Herdinkin, the Jaegers, Dwarven Cowboys. The Dwarven Cowboys and the Brood Brothers only have 2 weeks of data, and they're both 58 and 59% win rates, which is really still kind of scary still, because, you know, they're a brand new team. They shouldn't have a great win rate.
Right, like, unless you have crazy rules that are like, it's hard for you to lose, right?
Yeah, you see it in League of Legends when people are just picking up brand new champions or whatever. They're still learning how to play the team correctly.
Yeah, I mean, we saw it with Cultists, right? When Felgor. When Felgor first dropped, right? And people were just absurdly winning with them.
Same thing with Colts, you know?
Yeah. Those were like, you know, the summer of Melee, right? You know,
just like the year of Melee.
The year of Melee. So, you know, if you have a team that's doing that and you're just like a decent player and you're winning like that hard, you know, it is partially because you know what you're doing, but at the same time, it's because the kit is so good.
Totally agree. The Harnkin have the least amount of data in the whole data slate. They only have a total of 3 tournament showings and 12 total games. So their statistics are practically negligible. So, you know, it is what it is. Today, we're going to go over our wants and wishes for teams that are overperforming for nerfs and teams that are underperforming for buffs. And we'll touch on some of the teams in the middle. These are kind of like our hopes and dreams. The best case scenario, G, is that the Dataslate goes out tomorrow morning, and then everyone can like compare and contrast and tell us how dumb we are.
Yep. Let's manifest it.
We've done it before, man.
Yeah,
we literally, you and me, literally manifested
intercession
into existence.
That was such a good conversation at lunch, and then it just happened. The next day, it literally happened.
For anyone who's not familiar with the podcast or just tuning in or hasn't listened to our old episodes, me and Giacomo used to work together, and we just desperately wanted Space Marines to be in the game, not Phobos, and be good, right? And like we were like, how do we make intercessors work? And we were talking about it, and half the stuff, 90% of what we said was in it. We did not come up with chapter tactics. That was
at all, or the ability to double shoot, double fight. That was just like, holy shit.
Yeah, but we got a lot of the rest of it right, you know. So giving more wounds and stuff like that. So it's really cool, really exciting. So today we are gonna orc the Dataslate into existence.
Maybe.
Now I have full belief, Giacomo. It's gonna happen.
I believe it will release.
It will release.
I don't know what day, but it will
one
release.
Day. So let's get the Brood Brothers and Harnkin Jaegers talk out of here. Like let's get them over with, because they don't have a lot of stats. The Brood Brothers actually have 40 total games.
Right, which is more than I'd expect for being released as early as they have been.
Yeah, which isn't a ton for anyone who's listening, right? But the interesting thing about Brood Brothers, or about the statistics, is that we pull only 16 player tournaments and 4 or more rounds. So it has to meet both of those requirements in order for us to pull the statistics.
Right, and we're doing 16 or higher players, right? Mm-hmm. Perfect. And
we're gonna go over 2 different things in statistics. One is called placing percentage, and the other one is called tournament win percentage. So placing percentage is how many times a tournament team shows up to a tournament divided by its placing. Oh, sorry. How many times it's placed. Okay. So placing is 1 through 3, unless it's top 10%. So if it's a 60-person tournament, we take the top 6 players, and those will all be considered placings. If it's a 39-person tournament, it's still just 3 people. Okay, so it's whatever's greater, 3 people or top 10%. It doesn't make sense to count a 16-person tournament and have 3 players in that, right? Which is like objectively like what, a third of the tournament, almost right, a fifth of the tournament. Yeah, compared to like LVO's,
150 kind of
100.
Place,
yeah, and then we took the top 13 of it. So. And then finally, tournament win percentage, which is how many times a team showed up at a tournament divided by how many wins that tournament had, that team has. So far, Brood Brothers are 100% in the lead with 40 games. They have a 59% win percentage, which is the top of the charts. The placing percentage is at 50%, and the tournament win percentage is at 25%. So they've only showed up to 4 tournaments. They've won 1 of them, and they've placed in 50% of them. So
pretty good.
Yeah. So pretty good. We'll have to see if that continues on as the team matures and Kill Team, we see our buffs and nerfs. Because I can guarantee you Brood Brothers and Harnkin aren't going to get touched, right?
Right. They're too new.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of worried about Brood Brothers because I think that a lot of Vetguard players and Blooded players move to Brood Brothers because it just makes sense. They already know how to play hordes. So all they really have to do is adapt to this slightly new rule set. And Brood Brothers gives you a lot of tools. So it makes sense that this team is probably just going to keep getting better.
Yeah, they're an interesting team because I think they play more like Blooded than they do Vetguard.
Mm-hmm.
Because of how much melee they have. Vetguard have the most AP in the game, right? They have squishy bodies. They just try to body you like that. Brood Brothers has a lot of great melee. So while you can play them like that, I think that they're going to go through some growing pains specifically because of that stuff. So, but next up, there's only 2 teams that are above GW's 55% win rate category. Everyone else is drastically below them, surprisingly. We have Wormblade at 56% win rate. They are placing in 33% of all tournaments that they show up to. And they are winning 8% of the tournaments that they show up to. Pretty impressive.
Pretty impressive. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, their ability to just reroll one number of dice, like I've seen it a bunch of times, whether it's on stream or just watching players, they'll roll a set of numbers and they go, that's the one I got to change. And it's usually like, it tends to happen very often, like more than you think, right? I think it's even better than just like rerolling ones. Obviously it is because you can both reroll your ones or reroll, let's say, your twos, right? So you get rid of one of the biggest challenges in the game.
Which is rather difficult. Or the 3s. I think they hit on 4s.
Yeah, exactly. So you could choose any number of those missed dice. But the sense is like in Warhammer 40K, we always say 2 is the worst number because you can't really manipulate a 2 if it's a fail. You can manipulate 1s. So this one lets you manipulate any of your misses.
But here's the crazy thing. Wormblade allows you to manipulate minimum 1 dice. Because what if you roll 4 2s? Guess what? You get relentless.
Exactly. So it's just like, it's the whole set of just like failures, which is so nice. And you know who has this rule too? Actually, a bunch of other teams now. But it was first with Wormblade, and that was pretty crazy. And they're ambushing, like their ability to just sort of like, I'm going to hold off on the guy, popped here, bam, killed you.
So with Wormblade and Gellerpox being the 2 teams outside of the GW's quote unquote metrics of win percentage, this is what they value most, right? I don't necessarily value it the most, but the rest of their statistics for both teams are relatively concerning enough that I think they need a change, except for Gellerpox. I will go into Gellerpox in a second. But what do you think Wormblade? Obviously, they have to get nerfed, right? Like, they should be. What do you think that they deserve as a nerf? Let's pull up. I guess we should pull up Wahapedia.
Let's get some of that out of the way so we can have our little
some squad games minutes here.
See, this is a bit of a tough one because I think the team itself like plays exactly how they should in terms of abilities and the flavor overall. And they're right where they should be with the hordes. I guess the only thing would be maybe deciding which characters can be an ambush. Like that, because one thing is you're always going to put like the gunner or someone who does like a hella damage, hiding, so that way they're safe until you need them, right? Like so their ambush ability is really strong, and a lot of players kind of have to wonder like when are they going to jump it out, and then am I popped?
Absolutely.
Maybe that's the one thing you change, like which units can and can't be in the ambush.
So I have okay, I think that's good. I have a different thought process. Mm-hmm. I think they win so much because they're so good at loot.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I mean, that could be said for all hordes.
Yeah. They score about average on secondaries, right? maybe just a tad a little bit over. So I think in order to put them just a tad bit more into the normal, I think in hiding, make it more like anyone who comes out from hiding cannot flip into engage no matter what. I think that that only happens for Into the Dark, right? And it kind of neuters them aggressively, but they still score well because of it. But without a full change to loot itself, I don't think there's like a lot that you can do to the team without just like taking away what they've already given them. In fact, I like how powerful a lot of the teams are right now. And I'm going to argue for the most part, we don't need any nerfs.
Okay.
Outside of Pathfinders, -1 operative. But,
we'll get to them later.
Yeah.
No, I would agree. Like I mentioned earlier, Wormblade feels like they play exactly how they should. Nothing ever is a real like feels bad moment, because even like just hiding for a while, like you as an opponent go, all right, I know they're going to try to pull something, so I have to play a little more defensively and kind of be hidden so I don't get shot by that ambush. So like it's not like a feels bad where it's like an auto win or like I have to kill you 3 times in order to do something, you know?
Absolutely.
It's never like that. So I would just say kind of what you mentioned, that's not a bad one either. It's just they can't switch to engage if they do it, so they can still appear and kind of be in a safe spot.
They can score points or whatever, yeah.
Yeah, but then I think the whole point of the ambush is, like to pop up and kill somebody. So I'm not quite sure how. I mean, those are probably the two I can think of, either the one I said or the one you said, to change really for the ambushing.
Yeah.
Or, coming out of hiding and just going like pop, pop. Because I think that's really it. And, loot, again, horde teams are great on loot, and that's what, they're great on a lot of things, because even just capturing objectives, you can go stick a guy in the back to capture this while the rest of your dudes move forward or do whatever they have to do, because you have enough bodies to do it with no problem.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another one. Like the hordes can do a lot. They can do a lot on all the missions. So maybe if missions change, but now that's a different conversation that we don't got time for that.
Unfortunately, in this balanced data slate, I don't think they're going to change.
No.
Loot, secure, or capture. I have my thoughts on what they should change for those to make it more fair for everyone. And if they did that, I would argue for no buffs and no nerfs, just to see how things shake out.
Right.
I'll just go over it real quick. You nerf every single GA2 team by saying loot can only be tapped once per player turn. So that negates Vetguard, Wormblade, and all the GA2 teams like Brood Brothers from going up and tapping a spot and then tapping a spot. So you can't go and steal 2 of your opponent's objectives.
Using GA2. Gotcha.
Yeah, using GA2. And so essentially those 2 GA2 models act as one model, right?
Gotcha.
And I think that that's like an innate thing that like loot should already have, only if capture changes. I think secure is very balanced. But capture, all right. So I think there's a couple changes. Number 1, if you cannot do any mission actions, you cannot count as a model for capture on an objective. This screws over cultists. It screws over like the legionary dude who can't do mission actions, and a few other models that can be a big problem, including, and here's the other one. If you only count as 1 APL, so if you count as 1 APL, or it counts as, also that affects dead Felgor, which are a problem, right? Like dead Felgor can't control things anymore. I don't know if they could. I'd have to look at it again. I know they did when they first came out, and then they count as like 1 AP or some shit for control purposes of control. So if you count as 1 AP, or it costs 2 AP in order to tap a point, you count as 1 AP for the purposes of control.
Right. See, that makes a lot of sense.
So, like the giant Gellerpox models, they cost 2 to do a control, right? Instead, it would just cost, they would count as a singular AP for controlling because they're so hard to remove from the board, right? They're raging hulks, you know, they're not there thinking about
the mission.
I need to control this relic. Oh, my brain is not rotten, you know?
I get you.
Yeah. But I think that would fix a lot of teams' power. I just think that a lot of teams abuse the way the game is currently.
See, because if those were changes implemented, then Wormblade would seem fine. Because now they're not like going to ambush take objectives or ambush destroy your model, which is fine. How an ambush should be, right? You're going to ambush and kill somebody, not ambush and steal the objective.
And ultimately, it's a buff to elites too.
Yeah. Because now when you play against hordes, you're not just like, I'm going to get outscored by them before I even get a chance to start getting my first 2 turns.
Absolutely. So, you know, it is what it is. I guess we'll have to. That would be my change, but I think this edition is going to end before we have a chance to, you know, argue for that.
That's a solid change. I like that one.
So next up we have, I'll just name the next, I guess there's 4 teams that are all sitting at 52% win rate. It's Inquisition, Novitiates, Hand of the Archon, and Mandrakes. Mm-hmm. All of which are in a relatively healthy spot in the meta, in my opinion, except for one of those teams. So when we look at the teams, they're in the higher win rate, so they are a stronger team. I think Inquisition has played really well in Europe. I haven't seen a lot of success from Inquisition in the United States tournaments, but in Spain and Poland, they do really well. Maybe in the UK as well, but Gellerpox is doing really, really well because of Orion and because of Can You Roll a Crit? Literally, almost all of the placings and every single tournament win, or maybe I know 2 tournament wins are specifically because of those 2 players. So I think it's unfair to say Gellerpox are a huge problem when it's just 2 players performing outstandingly with them. When you look at Mandrakes, on the other hand, they have a 52% win rate, but they have a 48% placement rating. So 48% of the tournaments that they show up to, they've showed up to 27 different tournaments. Okay, there are 53 total tournaments. So they released it halfway through this
season,
this data slate, right? From 3/27 till now. Mm-hmm. And they've showed up to 27 tournaments, and they have placed in the top 3, essentially, in 48% of those tournaments.
Pretty good.
Yeah. And then they've won 14% of those tournaments.
That's pretty solid. I mean, I think it maybe is a little higher than I'd expect, but nothing wrong with that.
When you look at win percentage, if we were trying to balance every single team would need to win 3% of tournaments in order to be balanced, right? These are 5 times that rate.
Just about.
And yeah, that's a lot.
I mean, one team has to be like I think a strong force.
I feel like anything like 9% and below is probably fine. You know, I think 0% is a problem because that means they haven't won a single tournament out of 53. But if we're saying that there's 53 total tournaments, that means should every single team be winning? Should Justian go out and win a tournament? No, they just fucking suck, right? So like, I think there's a little bit of nuance and things that we can talk about. But do we think Inquisition, Novitiates, and Hand of the Archon need any buffs or nerfs? I don't think so.
No, I can't really think of one. Maybe the only thing is the Mandrake's ability to dash, like when it happens, maybe is a little different, but that'd be it. because the dash seems to be the strongest ability. Because like your opponent goes, I'm going to do this weird like setup for the next turn, but then like, all right, the Mandrake player sees what they're going to be doing, so they're like, I'm going to dash away to disappear where I need to go, and you're like, oh, okay, cool.
Maybe 1+ CP on that or something like that,
some way to change the dash, but I think the rest of the team is solid.
And this is specifically the out of activation dash, right?
Yeah, the out of activation dash that you can take like at the beginning of the strategic phase.
Yeah, I know a lot of people really value the leaders like
the Ubilex or Ubilex.
No, not Ubilex.
Oh.
Not that one. The other one is the leader's ability to stop activations from happening.
Oh yeah, that too. That's a problem. But, it's not the end of the world though.
But here's the thing: if they took that away from the team would still function exactly the same, and people would probably start playing the team better because they would stop inting their leader forward.
Right, to do the thing. Right.
I'm going to jump him forward, and he's going to die on turning point 2. Instead, just keep him back and hold him for later.
Right, and as a player, when you're playing as Mandrakes, you have to expect like, all right, I'm going to throw this dude in here, and there's a chance he's not going to get to go. So you sort of have to start playing around that guy, which is normal. So again, it's not the worst thing to happen. I think still the worst thing is the dash, because they can just kind of dash in a random direction, right? It's not like I know the leader has this ability and I know I'm going to probably get stuck in it. The dash is like, well, I might dash forward, I might dash back, I might dash over here. Like now you're not predicting where they're going to be.
Absolutely.
So that's I think a little worse, and probably the one that I see most people have like moments with than anything else.
Yeah, I think so too. Now let's look for other teams in this list that are probably a problem, right?
Maybe.
And I think there's 3 that stick out to me just from looking purely at numbers. One of which is Pathfinders.
No.
Pathfinders have a 51.87% win rate, almost perfectly balanced, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they have a 34% placement rating, and they have an 18.75% win rate of tournaments. And they've shown up to 32 tournaments, and they're winning 20% of those tournaments.
Just about. Yeah.
So they've won 6 tournaments of the 32 that they've showed up to. They won 6 of them.
That's very, very good. When you think about like all the amount of good teams and all the tournaments that they could win, right? 6 is a pretty high number on this list. If you could see the data, in fact, it's the highest number on this list.
Mm-hmm. And in fact, that's like 10% of all tournaments they've won,
which is huge. Like if you can capture 10% of an audience, 10% of tournaments, Jesus.
I think it's just over. They are the most winning faction at this time around. Like,
and
there's 53 tournaments and they've won 6 of them.
Yeah, that's great. That's
5 divided by 6. I don't know the number. You guys can tell us.
It's a little bit higher than 10%.
Yeah.
Closer to like 11, 12%. But nonetheless, that's still incredible, right? That's great.
Yeah.
This team is good. The Dataslate gave them a guy back, which definitely helps them. I don't know if they needed that, but okay. They have climbing rope, so they can work. Before they fixed climbing rope, they still had climbing rope to help them do their thing. They have the bodies that they can definitely go ahead and, like we mentioned earlier, leave a dude in the back to go score objectives. They have their ability to do the alpha strike with the grenade. They got the tools, and they have decent archetypes. So, like, what did you expect was going to happen with this team?
Yeah. So I think that this team would be a team that I would say needs a nerf. I know everyone's like, of course Dakotah says that. Of course he does. But have you ever been shot off by a Pathfinders player? Outside of the Pathfinders players that are listening to us.
I think a good nerf would not be losing an operative. Can their weapon go down to 3.5 instead of 4.5?
I would love that, but I don't think that's ever going to happen.
Like, holy shit, we get it. Like, they're supposed to have stronger technology, and even in 40K, their basic weapon is their troop basic weapon is strong. But 3 is already really, really good for just a regular troop guy, and most of your guys have this weapon. And the fact that it's 4 or 5 is just nuts. I'll give him 3.5 with the critical, whatever. right?
You go bonded. You hit all 4 dice. Space Marine player gets unlucky. Only saves 1.
Let's look at the average, right? The
Legionary player's dead.
Yeah, like the standard team has about 8 wounds, right? So 2 shots from a Pathfinder without any criticals, if you get the hits, which you probably will, because you'll have your marker lights and everything, you just frag that guy. And 3-5 gives you at least a chance, like you still could frag that guy, but you got to do more crits. You know, you kind of rely more on the crit now, I'd
say the average wound is probably 9 because of all the 10 wound teams, and I'm higher.
I forgot about 10 wound teams.
And then there's a bunch of 7s. So still,
like you could still make it happen. I just think 3-5 is probably better than 4-5.
A crit and a hit kills you.
Yeah,
the average,
right, like,
or wounds them so bad that they're basically
they're in the dust now.
Yeah,
they retire.
Cool, Felgor, I'm going to charge you now. Cool, I'm going to kill you with a Pathfinder in melee, except I'm going to roll all 0s, or all 1s because I deserve it.
But honestly, I think that'd be fine. The extra troop, sure, it's a little bit of a feels bad, but I honestly think most of the time it's the weapon. Because you think like, oh, I can tank this shot, and then you realize it's not a Alaskan that's 2-3. It's a weapon that's 4-5. And I think, who has 4-5? The Intercessor, when he takes the upgrade. That's who has 4-5.
Yeah, and they're also the 8th most played team, which makes sense that they've won so many tournaments. They're out of 34 teams now. Jeez.
And realistically, I like the team, but I'm just sad that they have that stigma with them.
I would agree. So, that's interesting. Void Dancers, after their brutal nerf that they got, they're sitting exactly at 50% win rate, but there's a caveat. They are no longer popular whatsoever. In fact, let us do total wins. Sort by total wins.
Where did they fall?
They are the 5th least taken team. They rank 29th. In the most popular faction race.
Wow.
In fact, the least popular factions currently, Jaeger's number 1 because they're brand new. Then Justian. Then Brood Brothers, which is crazy that Brood Brothers has been out for 2 weeks and they're not at the bottom.
Again, they're still new though, so we expect them to rise.
Oh yeah. And then we have Cultists at 46 games. And then we have Void Dancers with just a mere 68.
Ooh.
The fact that they have there's been 6,000 games this data slate, right? And they only have 1% of players are playing this team. They can count for 1% of the data. It's crazy.
I think they made a good change with removing flying. I think they made a bad move with flip belts or the belts not letting them traverse.
And drop. The fact that drop costs 2, no matter what the height is kind of shitty.
It's pretty shitty. I think the flip belts could allow them to drop and traverse for free. That seems fine. It's like fly, but not really.
Yeah. In fact, I would like to see them buffed where that specifically just that goes away. Just to see how they go. So the drop is, let's just say, is free.
Right, because this team, Void Dancer needs to close the gap, and this really stops them from closing the gap, and then they just get fragged. So
this would be my first buff. I know it's in the 50% range. So personally, it's not a lot, but I value popularity a lot in my thought process of teams and that kind of stuff. And the fact that we had in the tournaments that we ran, I think Pacific Skirmish and Midsummer Mayhem, I think out of those 68 games, at least 12 of those games happened on the West Coast, if not 16 of them, right in the world. Because the West Coast is a very people love elves over here, right? I don't know what it is, but mandrakes and Blades of Cain and what's the other? And Void Dancers are quite popular, and Hand of the Archon, right? Compared to like everywhere else. So yeah, it's pretty interesting. That would be my first buff for sure. Just I don't think that I don't even know if it was intended that they're supposed to drop for 2, but I don't know. That was kind of wild that it happened in the first place. Felgor is next with a 20% placement rating and a 6% tournament win rate, which is not bad. They've won 2 tournaments and they've placed in 7. So they've done well this data slate after getting nerfed after nerfed. And I think the only real player that's been playing in this data slate has been Ace, but I don't know if any of Ace's tournaments actually fell in this data slate. He's played them 3 times this year. And that's after LVO. So I'd assume at least one of those tournament wins is probably from Ace. I know that Orion and Jimmy jumped off them. They both did really well at LVO. So, yeah. Hunter Clade is really good right now, but they have a 49% win rate. And the only other team that I see with a really rather large problem in the other area is probably Hyrotech Circle. They have a 34% placement rating. When I start to see teams in this 34%, like, hey, we're placing in 30%, this team, 34% of tournaments that we show up to, I find a problem. They've showed up to 41 tournaments and they've placed in 14 of them. Is it like that big of a deal? Probably not, but they're definitely really strong right now. Really, really strong. Yep. So if I had to do a nerf to them, like I would hate to take away the 2 up for reanimation. But the problem is that reanimation just needs to be reworked. Like it's just fucking stupid. If it's a 3 up, it sucks. If it's a 2 up, it's busted. Like the fact that we've seen Felgor and Hyrotech do so well in so many tournaments just because they just don't die because it's innately breaks the game is the problem, right? Them and Cultists. That's the reason why Cultists got nerfed over and over and over and over and are now, one of the least played teams in the entire game because everyone just,
it's not an auto win.
Yeah, it's not an auto win. And who wants to play them because they're boring, right? So, yeah.
They could have been so cool. I'm going to go on a rant here. This is a Squad Games rant. Chaos Cultists could have been so cool if they didn't change anything to their mutants, right? But the way you updated them and upgraded them was killing your own cultists. That would have been so fucking rad. Like, so, all right, I'm sacrificing bodies, but I'm getting stronger here where I needed to be. Right? That could have been so fucking awesome. And they didn't do that. Anyways, that's my rant. I'm over. Drop the pen. Drop the mic.
Drop the mic?
Yeah.
That was my mic. I was clapping. I was clapping my mic.
This one?
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. Phobos and Nemesis Claw are the top rated
elites.
They're both sitting at a 48% win rate, literally 0.01% away from each other. Quite interesting. They also have Nemesis Claw overtook Phobos in most games played. Nemesis Claw have 362 total games, and they just came out, right? I called this shit. I'm excited that I called this shit. Nemesis Claw on release, right? Nemesis Claw on release. 362 fucking games in fucking how long, and how many does Mandrakes have? Where's Mandrakes here? So they're the second most played team currently. They're 100% going to surpass Commandos
because they're badass. Like they made a cool Chaos faction, and I guarantee you, if Deathwatch got the same treatment, we would see Deathwatch's numbers shoot up real fast too.
Yeah. So 6 weeks ago, we did our last Meta Watch, right? And Nemesis Claw was sitting at 180 games. Hyrotech Circle was sitting at the number 1 spot with the most games played. And in 6 weeks, Higher Tech has dropped to number 4, while Commandos has gone to number 1. And Nemesis Claw is sitting at 362. So what's crazy about Commandos, right? Commandos still have a 47% win rate, a 26% placement rating, a tournament win percentage of 10.8, right? They have 388 games. They have won 5 tournaments, which is second most, right? Just trailing behind Pathfinders. So people telling me Commandos are bad are just wrong.
Yeah, they're still, like, even to this day when I play them locally, just like casually, they still do work.
Sorry, Chris Baki, you're fucking wrong, my guy. Okay, you're
That's the
wrong.
most famous man in Kill Team now.
He is. Listen, Chris, you can't defend yourself because you're not here. Ha ha. You said that Commandos, just a scratch, ruins the team. Well, guess what, my guy? The world doesn't think that, and neither does the stats. I love you, Chris. But it's interesting that Commandos are actually doing well, right?
Yeah, I'm happy that they are.
Yeah, there's quite a few people, influential people in the scene that thought that this nerf would kill the team. And that's 100% not the case. In fact, they're still by far the most popular team so far. Next Dataslate is going to go away. Nemesis Claw is going to take over. Mm-hmm. It's fucking crazy. But yeah, I think Commandos are still in a really good place, and they're winning a lot of events. They're playing really well. Their overrepresentation ratio is just about perfect. It's at 1.2. So they're not dominating like they were, but they're still winning. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty interesting. Though their secondaries are lagging behind most other teams.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Let's go back to, okay. So I don't think Commandos need anything. I don't think Nemesis Claw needs anything. They already got enough buffs in the errata. Please don't give them any more. They're kind of cancer. And Nemesis Claw, kind of cancer.
Like, I played Nemesis Claw against my intercession. I knew exactly what I had to do. I had to take the one guy with the Auspex so I could turn off obscuring on one guy only, because I needed to make sure that the Skin Thief didn't make it safely across the board. So I forced him to have to hide, which let me be aggressive on the next turn.
Aggressive. Aggressive.
Exactly. You got to be aggressive against this team and know that at the end, it's going to be a trade, at least when it came down to the 6 versus 6. In fact, I actually saw this with Jimmy Kelly and Austin Lewis when they played on stream. You looked at their list. It was exactly the same. They both played hyper aggressive. Only in the last turn did they sort of play a little strategic, but it came down to like 2 bodies to 0 at the end. Like everything was dying. So that's exactly what you expect with the Nemesis Claw thing. Like, you just know you're going to lose guys, and you have to do your very best to make sure that they die too in this kind of matchup. Yeah, but that's the elite matchup. So I'm not quite sure about the other types though.
So check this one out. So into hordes, they can be really, really good. So you can jump forward your guy 4 inches with their ploy, right? Mm-hmm. Let's just say it's the ventriloquar. Okay. Mm-hmm. Then you can move them, and then you have your missile launcher on engage. You move the guy forward straight 6 inches, look at a dude, tell him to jump out or turn his thing to like engage, right? And then they're like, oh, cool, I'll just move that guy. Haha, no, you don't. You do the Vox scream on that model. He has to move someone else. And then you move your missile launcher out and you shoot a blast into a horde. The very next activation, okay, you take your guy who you took, let's say you took dash, right? If you didn't take flip for your missile launcher, let's just say you took the dash ability. Your very next activation, so this would be activation 3, you can take your Tox guy, right? Jump forward. Fearmonger. Jump forward with his horror chem, whatever the fuck it's called. Toxic chem, and throw his vial Or you can have him just do that turn 1, turn 2, whoever's left, do the other guy, move him out, and then shoot the other guy. Like your first 3 activations on your team can essentially be 2 fucking alpha strikes.
The Nemesis Claw is strong, and I like him for that. But they're not super overpowered. They're very fun to play because obviously, like, we look at their placings, they're 25 compared to other teams which have like 33 and up. Mm-hmm. So we know they're not always winning at the top, but they might be like second and third.
Yeah. So Vet Guard, we'll just touch on them. Vet Guard have a 47% win rate. Their win rate hasn't changed whatsoever. But something else definitely changed for them. Their placing percentage has dropped I think 13% down to 15 to 16. So they're placing at way less events, and then they only won 1 event. So as a 3.23, which is more than I was expecting from the team. But again, it's just a 6. I don't know what event they won. But I think it was probably up north. I think they had a Vet Guard winner in the Skinning Pit, maybe. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure. Okay. I'm not sure. But the Veteran Guards, they're almost the exact same as what they were before their nerf. So it hasn't really affected their scoring. It hasn't really affected their win rate. The only thing it has affected is how well the team is doing at top tables. So
what if they could still take the extra bodies, but they also got to take one of the other things?
I think that'd be too much.
I think it's too much?
Yeah, I think if I was going to give the Veteran Guardsmen any sort of a buff, mm-hmm. I would buff the Zealot and I would buff the Trench guy. Make the Trench guy 4/4 damage with 4 attacks and give him something else, to make him viable. Because he does like 3/3 stun and can ignore the first damage when he's hit. And it's change. It's just not that good, like maybe only in melee. So maybe if he always has a rosary, or I don't fucking know.
Don't forget the spotter. Make the spotter ignore obscuring. Just put him in line with all the other teams that can do that.
Yeah, you could do that.
I think that'd be fair.
Yeah. Instead of maybe he could do both, maybe for one. I would love to see a change on the spotter to the blast ability go down to 1 AP, or now that the flip ability is way worse, make that 1 AP where you can like flip somebody. Not both, because you don't want them to flip and then shoot them.
Yeah, blow someone up. That's a little strong.
That's super strong. I would just say turn one of those into a 1 AP one. I guess they don't do that because if you give him plus 1 AP, he could do that.
I would just say, man, do the Casterkin thing, but instead of where Casterkin can do it anywhere, just have it. I can see that guy. He's not obscured anymore. And that's it. Like, make the spotter kind of useful for those kind of matchups.
I could see that. Yeah, that could help. It could help.
Yeah, because like now someone tries to play cheeky and going, I'm going to do non-reciprocal shooting. I'm going to punish you for that,
Yeah,
like,
true.
And it's one of those, like, now you have to strategy. You can't just do that because they're going to touch you that way. Mm-hmm. Because they have strong shooting, and really all they need is just a way to connect.
Yeah. We next up have Blades of Cain and Corsairs, both just sitting just above the 45% win rate. Corsairs have a 45.16. Blades of Cain have a 46. I would like to see a buff to both teams.
Mm-hmm. I don't know what to do for Blades of Cain. Literally zero idea. No idea what to do.
Make Rain of Tears so that it can be activated on their opponent's turn. So if opponent is if they strike with a crit, they can fall back. Usually it's only being able to activate when you charge and you crit, you can then immediately fall back. If somebody charges you and you crit, you can fall back.
Because this team is like hella Giga Brain.
Yeah, dude. You gotta change small things at a time on that team.
Like if you thought Inquisitorial Agents was Giga Brain, like Blades of Cain is like, whoa. Yeah, it's fucking Galaxy Brain.
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck I'm reading when I look at that.
This team So it's we'll talk about this at the end. Don't forget to remind me about tournaments are getting rid of roster requirements. Some tournaments are.
Oh, really? What the fuck?
It's fucking weird.
What? So you can take everything?
Yeah. We'll talk about it soon.
Yeah,
we'll talk about it. Yeah.
Corsairs.
Corsairs have a 45.16. They still suck.
I want
they
Rob
just
to bring them
suck.
back, man, so that way make them good.
Dude, they're just bad, and they always have been. No matter what buffs these people do, there's one thing that they can do to fix this team, and I'm going to put my foot in the dirt, flag in the sand. I don't fucking know. Give them 2 gunners. Allow them to take 2 gunners, put them in the same line as Hand of the Archon. Hand of the Archon is a 52% win rate. 52%. I got in an argument with Spain because they thought Hand of the Archon should not be that high. They think that's crazy. Obviously, they're not the elf people. They're the Inquisition people. The people on the West Coast are a bunch of Xenos lovers, right? Yeah. So, but Corsairs need to have another gunner. And if you don't do that, you're just continually buffing the wrong thing with the team. They need to have another gunner. That's my personal opinion.
Yeah, I think that's fine because the team is essentially a glass cannon. So, you may as well give them a little bit more punch, which is what they kind of need sometimes. Still
to this day, Hand of the Archon is just the better choice. It always has been. So, instead of being like, oh, I can just take the heavy gunner and the blaster, or the blaster, just make it so you can take a heavy gunner and a gunner, or just 2 gunners, which will probably always be the case. But, give them the blaster and the shredder, just Hand of the Archon can do it. It just doesn't make sense why Games Workshop has their head in the sand about it. I just don't get it.
Right. Because the kit, you can make both, just saying.
Yeah. So, let me mark these in a pale green to indicate who we're given buffs to.
Exaction Squad.
Yeah, we forgot to talk about it. Does Exaction Squad need a buff? They have a 47% win rate. They're placing 5% of the time, and they're winning 5%, which is statistically perfect. Placing is a little low, but their tournament win percentage, they won 1. I got one that I think could fix them. 1 buff. Actually, it's kind of bad. So they've won 1 tournament, which is the same tournament that they placed in. Right. And they went undefeated in the tournament. So it's one dude, one thing,
One he knows the team. I think.
Yeah. Or chick,
or chick. Yeah.
Yeah.
She could be really good. I think Phospholumens should just be you don't get any rerolls against us.
Ooh.
Not just within 6 inches, just
what if the subjectors, the dude with the shields, hit on 3s?
That too, right? Instead of hitting on 4s, so they're better in melee. I think that'd be fine too. Those 2 changes, suddenly you can't just rely on rerolls to kill these guys, not just from 6 inches. Because the strategy is all right, Phospholumens, stay away from 6 inches, just shoot them. But now you're I don't get to do that. I just have to kind of shoot them and pray I kill them, so they can they're a little more tanky than you'd think. And the subjectors hitting on 3s is a good way if you're playing against melee teams who really you got to bash them in the head with these guys, Yeah. I can live with that.
Okay. So I like that we have 2 different buffs for the same team, because unfortunately, I think mine affects Inquisition and yours doesn't. So I think I'm going to go with yours. Phosphorlumens allows no rerolls. Because if we allow subjectors to hit on 3s, that will innately buff to Inquisition. So scratch what I said. I'm dumb. I forgot Inquisition, exists. So yeah, fuck that.
Do Star Striders need to change?
Star Striders? Nah, dude.
I think they're great.
They're at a 49% win rate. They've won 0 tournaments, but they've placed in 24%. So they can't win the overall thing, but they're doing well, which is all right,
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what to give them as a buff, because you can't really add units. They just get the team,
Yeah, I think they're fine. I think they're ultimately fine.
Yeah, I'm sure someone will figure it. If you think they need something, tell us in the Discord and the Kill Team chat.
Yeah, tell us.
Blooded is fine.
where's Blooded at? Blooded was doing really well at the beginning of this edition. During this data slate, Blooded was in number 1 for a really long time. They were sitting at a 55% win rate, and then the word got out that they were good, and a lot of people took them, and now they suck.
Right. It's the thing I thought was going to happen with Warp Coven. We see all these crazy rules, but then everyone who owns them plays them, and not everyone understands the rules, so it brings them down a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're sitting at a 49% win rate, statistically perfect. They've won 6%, which is fine. They've placed in 20% of tournaments. That's fine. I don't think the team is overperforming or underperforming. I think they're looking at them statistically, I think they're a very fine team, middle of the pack. You got a good chance to do well with them. In fact, you have a better chance to win a tournament with them than you do Star Striders. They're both both teams of those teams are taking quite a lot as well. 227 to 223, which is, on the upper half of all teams being taken this data slate. So, pretty good overall.
It's a cool team. I get it. I get it. Why people take them.
Yeah. I think Hunter Clade's really good too right now, but they're statistically perfect too. So just leave them be. Me, I'm mostly voting for buffs this patch. I mean, even if Pathfinder stayed the same, which they shouldn't, nerf them. I think that I just want a bunch of buffs. So
in fact, I actually want Hunter Clade to get maybe like their version of a frag grenade, and that's it. Give them some blast. They don't got blast, You
want to give Hunter Clade a buff?
Yeah, I would give them just like their version of a frag grenade, essentially. They'd call it something else like a neutron explosion.
G is smoking phosphor lumens now.
There we go, man. Because why not give them a buff, right? Because like one thing I always notice is like, oh yeah, they don't got blast. I can kind of stay close together.
Yeah, I have I think that Hunter Clade is really scary if we touch them at all, Okay. You think we might like any slight tweak is going to like turn them crazy high? I don't know if just adding a frag would, but that may be the change of like the top 6 placings to how many times would they win an event. So they've won 1 event, right? Which is from Liam, and then they've placed in 6. So, we'll have to see. So getting into the depths of the depths. We have Strike Force Justian. What are we buffing? We're giving this team a buff, G. What are we doing for them?
Well, here's what we're doing. We're re-releasing them in one box that everyone can buy, because I feel like a lot of people aren't going to always customize their version, and they're going to buy the models. That's what a lot of people did. And they just kind of don't exist anymore. So like, that's more of a joke one, but realistically, they fall under the heroic team, but also at the same time, they also fall in the like, I am a marketing ploy, like buy me because you can gotcha me, but at the same time, like it's a team to play kill team. So here's a reason to buy it.
So you just want a re-release?
Yeah, I mean, like, so people can get it, I guess.
Yeah, but what are you going to buff on the team? Because they are not that good. Competitively speaking.
I mean, I think we know the answer, right? Give them chapter tactics.
Absolutely. Give them chapter tactics. Just take intercession, merge them together. Give them chapter tactics, give them durable, give them rapid, If we do this, man, imagine if you gave them rapid, bro. Like you could take your heavy dude and make him like, the 3 of the members just sit back and shoot. Maybe stealthy would be even better because you could just hide behind cover and then auto take 2 saves,
Well, here's the thing. Strike Force Justian is a hero team, right? Mm-hmm. They don't specify their faction though, right? They don't specify the chapter. It's generally Ultramarines because that's the box art. Is that?
Yep.
Was that technically correct? So then instead of giving them chapter tactics, you give them chapter tactics that are specifically for Ultramarines.
Ooh. So what? Hold the line and shooty?
Or special. They get like some specialty ones that are just for them.
So new chapter tactics.
Yes.
So what are we... What are the things that we're giving them, G? Let's manifest this into existence. It's going to happen, everyone.
So I would say Ultramarines, I'm just thinking stuff off the top of my head. They probably have something that gives them, they count as an extra APL for owning objectives. They could probably do a free mission action and then shoot or something. It's just too off the top of my head. Something that like you'd expect like the main character to do, you know?
So those are two pretty strong ones, you know?
Yeah.
I'm going to definitely dominate the primary game while my models are alive. That's kind of cool. That's kind of cool.
If they did that, though, I would ask that they get one nerf. And the thing is, you either pick the captain, who gives you a certain ability, or you pick the sergeant that gives you a certain ability. Because having three guys hitting on two is kind of strong.
I mean, it is strong. But I mean, the team sucks no matter what with it so far. I don't know if just making their primaries better, like, as we can see, they score 11 primaries per turn on average, and they have an average score of 14 points per game, which is rather low. And their secondary score is fucking god awful. So maybe we give them
and new secondaries, not just intercession secondaries.
three actual secondaries plus actual chapter tactics. Let's see if I can come up with one.
Okay.
With any. Let's see here.
Right, it's kind of hard.
It is kind of hard
because we're on the fly, man.
Okay, so let's say their models can shoot on death.
Okay, that's a nice one. So it's always a good one. They have that now, though, right?
Nope.
Oh, really? They don't have that as one of their stratagems?
I don't think they have any stratagems, do they?
I thought they got everything intercession got.
No,
oh,
I don't think
you're
so.
Right. Only the tech
no,
ops.
they didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't get anything, you know? So let's say the team could shoot on death, which would actually make the team pretty decent, right? Unless if they're in melee, right? If they die in melee, cool. Just make them opposite. Oh, dude, I'm just going to make them opposite of Felgor, you know? Like, okay, if you shoot me while I'm at a range, I'm scary. All right, so... And then I think I'd give them...
Because the captain's ability to get the command point is pretty good. Make the sergeant better. Because like, why would I ever want to take him as the leader? That's what I think. Like, right? You could have this choice of like, oh, sometimes the captain's in charge, sometimes the leader's in charge, and therefore you don't take the captain. But you know, maybe he's better against hordes, and the other guy's better against like elites.
I could see that.
Something, right? Something to make him unique and re-release the box.
Maybe there's 3 chapter tactics. There's one for the team, one for the leader, and then one for the captain, and then one for the sergeant.
See, I could live with that, right? And they work differently because otherwise, like, you're always going to take the captain. He hits on 2s, like, of course.
So does the sergeant. The sergeant does too, but I mean, the captain has a power fist and plasma pistol. I don't think there's anything that you could give the sergeant that would make me want to take the sergeant.
Exactly, because he doesn't even have extra damage. He's just a regular bolter with AP1.
Like even if you're like, well, if you take the captain, you don't get chapter tactics. I'm like, all right, cool. I have a plasma pistol power fist. Like,
it's still really strong.
Yeah,
and then
I don't care.
Like there's got to be some kind of like option. Because these guys are definitely GW released them, so you'd go buy them, but they kind of just like just glue on some rules that you found on the floor, and call it a day because people are going to buy.
I got an idea. I got an idea.
What do you got?
Okay, so the whole team gets +1 wound. Okay, the whole team.
Okay,
well, +1 wound. Okay, and then if you take the sergeant. All your models shoot on death.
Okay.
And if you take the captain, your models within 3 inches of the captain get a 5-up invul.
I could see something like that where the Iron Halo just works a little bit better.
Yeah. Pretty cool.
Like an aura. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of gives you a reason to sort of play a little more aggressive. But the thing is,
does that make them good? Oh, and then I don't know if that actually makes them like super good though. But hey, you know, it's
a thought, you know, it's a start, and we'll see.
Or you just make them super primary boys, like you said, because they're primary blue.
Yeah, something to like they can do the objective better, you know, since they're not going to necessarily have custom chapter tactics.
How do we make legionary better? Just revert the nerfs.
Revert the nerfs, or this one might fall into the same thing that I think Intercession might fall into, where it's like this is a product of the times and how good hordes are, or in teams in general are against elites. Like the game favors non-elite teams, save for Nemesis Claw and Phobos, and even then they're not even like at the top.
They're still a super popular team, right? But yeah, I think just revert the nerfs, in my opinion.
Yeah, because I mean the team is still pretty good. Like, if you play them well, like you will do fine. They have enough tools. Sure, they're only 12 wounds, 13 wounds for the sergeant, but like it's not really a deal. Not a deal breaker.
Let's go over Kasrkin. I don't know if we can give Kasrkin a bonus.
I'll say it, and I've said it too many times on this podcast, so I'll say it again. Make Forcadia give them an extra attack in combat. If Blooded can have a knife that gives them 4 attacks, why can't Kasrkin?
Because it's not
the knife, it's just Forcadia.
Okay, just Forcadia.
Right, so you have to activate it.
I think that's doable, but my problem is they have 152 games. They're placing 20% of the time, which is good, but they've won 11% of the tournaments that they've shown up to. So they've won 3 full actual tournaments. We've seen Austin Lewis do really well on the West Coast with them. We've seen, I don't know if anyone else in the US has done really well with Kasrkin outside of maybe Brett from Six Sided Legion, but I don't think he's played him this data slate. I don't know if I'd want to give them a buff, like, because I have a feeling like we're going to see the Caster Kings come out. Fuck it. We're going Caster Kings. Okay. We're going to give them something fucking crazy. Caster King time. All right.
How do you make him king?
Give them all +1 wound.
9 wounds?
Yeah, dude.
Okay,
fuck yeah, bro. Okay. Fuck yeah. And give them 4 attacks.
3s to hit. No, I'm kidding. That's too much.
Make the Forcadia. give them the Forcadia thing. Give them all +1 to wound. Just to be like, hey, guess what? Blades of Cain. You can't just one shot my guy anymore. Take that. Haha.
That'd be cool. Yeah, that's all, because again, I think the team shoots really, really effective. I almost never miss.
Even then, I don't know if they become Caster Kings, but they might be like Caster Squires,
I can take Caster Squires. They're on their way.
Yeah.
And it's a fun team, and Denver, it's never really like a feels bad, unless you do the one thing where you roll the dice and you go first. But it's not an auto. You have to pay it, and then you have to hope that you roll it.
True.
So it's never the worst feeling,
The next team at the bottom of the pack, we still have a lot more teams to go over buff-wise. Hearthkin Salvagers, still at the scraping the bottom of the barrel,
Give them the inch.
Give them the inch. Just
give
make them
the
6
inch.
inch. Yep.
Give them the inch. I think that
fast little
dwarves.
I don't think it's ever going to happen.
No, but that's because their counterpart can already dash forward a bunch, which helps them win because they're already forward. So that's kind of what Hearthkin needs is like, and why the fuck do they got recon? Like, they got 5-inch movement. They're not always doing every recon mission.
Because why not, Giacomo?
Fuck it. I like that they have it.
Why not give every team other than Veteran Guard and Blooded, recon? Why the fuck not? That's the better question.
Yeah. Yeah, give them an extra inch. Maybe make I think the grudge tokens work fine.
Dude, if we had to if we had to give them, why is it giving me an error? So if we had to
equals 1 inch. Yeah, so the one it's a numeral.
Yeah, it keeps pissing me off.
There you go.
If we had to give them a buff outside of the 1 inch, because that's like the easiest thing. +1 operative. Why not? It's such a cop out.
It's such a cop out. Like, it's rare that you'd actually think you'd want to give them +1 operative. realistically is like a real change. Usually it's a nerf. No, I think having 10 and then just having all these extra dudes that you could pick from is pretty cool already.
They've placed at 11% of tournaments and they've won 0. They've won 0 tournaments
I think they just can't make it like to those objectives fast enough because 5 inches isn't enough. Like, because your other teams are moving 6, sometimes 7.
You are correct. Their average primaries are 11. It's probably because everyone steals everything away from them, and then they probably can't. And then they can't get to them.
That's what it comes down to. Is like they just can't get there,
or they die too quick. You know, like it's one of the two.
Which is weird because they're kind of like surprisingly tanky. They have a 3-up armor save and 8 wounds.
Tell me about it. You know,
yeah,
fucking bastards.
Yeah,
they're actually with their buff that they got. They now beat a couple teams they used to not beat. So they actually kind of beat Vetguard now because they stopped people from moving out of the deployment zones. I'm sure they're good into the Dwarven Cowboys. And I'm sure they're good into a couple others, but that's only 2 teams. So it's not significantly going to make their overall win percentage better by being like, hey, now no one can move out. It just seems like a weird thing to like, you know, plant their flag in the ground and dirt, sand, whatever the fuck it is.
Right.
And like make them salvagers. I don't fucking know.
Well, if they did salvagers, they'd have to do something with like salvaging weapons off of dead enemies or something, technology or something, right? So like,
yeah, or like make it so that they can.
I think they
count as higher APL.
That's not really a Hearthkin thing. Like, you know, that's a Space Marine thing.
Yeah, they like AI and they like robots. They remind me of the Deep. You know?
Okay.
The boy. Well, you don't know who that is.
I haven't watched The Boys, so I'll do it at some point.
Yeah, they, you know, instead of octopuses, they like their little robots. I don't know.
I think just honestly, the 1 extra inch.
That's going to trigger a couple people, by the way. So, you know, I know you don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
No idea. Literally 0. I'll watch the show at some point. Just give them the inch. Give them the inch. I think that'll help them enough. Moving 6 is good.
Yeah, and then their counterparts, the Herdenkin, are just moving 4.
Plus 3 extra inches, so 3 of those guys are going to be a total of...
So what, give them the 6-inch extra move and then make their dash like, what, 2 inches or some shit?
No, fuck it. Keep their dash the same.
3 inches? Just give them a full on, just make them normal dudes.
And then kind of like how the dwarves themselves... kind of suck in melee, right? That's fine. Whatever. Plasma.
No, they have plasma knives.
The plasma knives are cool, but I feel like they're melee guys. I still want the dozer to be able to like hit you and then do his disengaged ability to force you off an objective. So he can go charge you, hit you once, disengage you, force you off. You don't even get to fight back, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you don't do any damage. It's just a way to like, I took the objective from you.
I think he can already do that. He could go up for 1 APL, knock him off.
Yeah, but it'd be cool if he could do it in the fight phase. So you could fight a few times, hit him a couple times, then push him off.
Interesting. Okay.
Something like that, you know, because it's not really too crazy and you probably won't do it often. It's just something I want. But the 1 inch is probably the real thing.
Yeah, that would actually make them better. Much better, because I think we're doing the math on the Herdenkin, and they can barely make it across the entirety of a board, you know?
And that's with their extra dash. But at the end of the day, they have enough stuff like their archetypes, which means they don't have to get across the board. They just have to be able to control the middle and the back.
It's true. And the salvagers are actually relatively good at security. Mm-hmm. As long as they're into a team that just doesn't murk them, you know? Right.
Otherwise, you got to play the recon game. And recon game is kind of hard when you move 5 inches.
So breachers suck balls, right? They suck balls.
No clue how to fix this team. What do you think?
I've been scarred by this team. I don't like this team. They have made. I want them to stay bad.
Make the cutters work through walls, like
into the dark walls.
Yeah, fuck it. They were designed for it. Make
hell yeah.
Yeah, like, you know, skew this team. It's like they're really good on Into the Dark, but if you're playing open, they're not as good. Okay, they're Navy breachers. That's their job. I can live with that. Why can't we have skewed teams?
Make their team be able to go through Into the Dark walls, because why not? I mean, I mean, we're already down that path, my guy.
Right.
We have fucking what are they called? The mandrakes who can just teleport around, you know. Why not let this team do it too, you know?
How cool is that as you as a player going like, you don't know where I'm going to pop the breacher. Like, you know, I have him and he's kind of nearby, but I can move him over here and then cut the hole right there, you know? Like, you don't know where I'm going to make that hole, or I'll do it here. Next turn I go over here and make 2 holes.
Yeah. I'm thinking about their long range shotguns. I think they have slugs, right? What do slugs do?
Let's look it up because it's been a minute.
I'm trying to think because, I mean, ultimately they're really good in close combat. What if we make them a little bit better arranged? Would that make the team better, or would it just make them worse because people are playing them improperly now? You know, I think it's a relatively decent question. So it would add 1 to both characteristics, and the ballistic skill goes up by 1 for that operative.
Ooh.
So maybe just give them slugs for free. So it makes their ballistic skill go to long range las guns essentially. Nope, because that's bad. The Endurant would have a relentless las gun. Nope. Fuck it. Nope. Fuck them. Nope. Hell no. Fuck that shit.
Here's another one I think they could get in addition to the cutter being good.
Okay.
Into the dark walls, because he can already do it on open. But what if when you took the what's his name, the Void Jammer, and the guy who takes the cat, what if they just got their pets
for free?
Mm-hmm.
I think. Yeah.
Why not? Make them a horde team. Fuck it.
Give them the what's it called? The commando's treatment. Commando treatment.
Yeah, fuck it. Give them. If you take that guy, you get their pet, you know?
Yeah, and this does, but would the hatchway cutter would affect Inquisition. And I don't think we want Inquisition to be teleporting through walls.
We force Inquisition to not be able to take it, like they say with other things, right?
They're not allowed to take the cutter anymore. Fair. All right, cool.
Right, or something like that. Because I think it'd be cool, like, all right, you have a guy cut it, and then he's like, all right, I'm going to set the cat through this skull so that the cat can go do his scanning thing. Or I'm going to send the guy's skull to go blow up right here. You know, like, what combos you could make now, right? These tricks you didn't think about before that you wouldn't have, because it's like, well, I had to spend a slot of a person for that. Like, I'm not going to do that. You know, make him go even heavier into hordes. Fuck it. If 14 models that aren't that crazy wounds can do it, fuck it. Whatever. You know,
I don't know if that still fixed the team, but hey, at least it's a step in the right direction, and they're not getting nerfed. They have a 41% win rate.
They need to lift them up, man.
They're pretty bad.
I'm finishing them eventually.
So we have Intercession up next, and there's only 2 teams after this. We're going to ignore Compendium.
Yep, they're not a thing.
They're not a thing for all you Compendium lovers out there. There's too many teams to go over if we were going to do that. Intercession is up next with a 38% win rate. Homie, these guys are bad.
Garbo. They
are placing relatively well. They've went to 330 games, which is a lot. They have placed at 21%, and they have won 6%. So their upper echelon is doing really well. How do we buff the team innately at the floor level without making Intercession great again?
At the start of each of the select muster your team phase, you can select 2 from the following list of your chapter tactics. So instead of like, oh, at this tournament, I must take this, I can have all of them, but I must choose them at the start of each fight.
Okay.
I think it's easy. And that way it's like, okay, yeah, whatever. Fuck it.
Yeah, but I don't think that fixes the team. For me, I just want to see them great again. I want to see all the nerfs that they received, including durable, reversed.
Yeah, I could see that too. Because like for the most part, their big issue is teams can just do a lot of damage to them.
Yeah, make Intercession fun again.
Make them way fun, right? Because they are a generally fun team to play, and they're easy to learn. They're not too crazy on rules. And if you can customize each battle against like your opponent, then that's fine. Because sometimes if you take one set of stuff, you're like, well, this isn't as good I just took the overall best stuff where I could be like, I can skew my choice against this team all the time, taking my thing. Yeah. And then I was talking to Melty about this. And then another one would be for 1 CP at the start of the turn. This is a once per game thing. At the start of a strategic play phase, you can switch for that turn. You can switch one of your chapter tactics to be something else. Just for a turn, and then it goes away after that. So like, oh shit, I actually need 3 in this fight, but I need to know when to use this one. This makes the team a little more complicated.
That's a really cool ability.
Something like that, right? Because I think you're already doing good with chapter tactics, but limiting the way you can take them kind of goes like, well, I'm always going to choose the best 2 because I can never really get to experiment against other teams. I have to choose the best 2 against who I might play against, you know?
Yeah.
So like, I'd prefer if they had like, you just give them all. Fuck it. Doesn't matter.
Cool. Yeah. I'm down.
Yeah.
Compendium we're skipping. Yep. Farstalker Kinban is up next.
More rerolls.
With a 37% win rate.
More rerolls. I don't know.
Give them 2 more dogs.
Yeah, actually, get the dogs GA2 again.
Just give them 2 more dogs. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, that could be fine because like I think one of the things is they did pretty good with the dogs, and that getting kind of nerfed was like, oh, okay.
Okay, so 4 dogs. So now the team can take up to 4 dogs, and the dogs have GA2. Mm-hmm. You know, just make them the pet team. You know?
Yeah, that'd be kind of fun.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah. They have a bird and 4 dogs. You know, that actually could be busted.
And I like their ability where they can take different archetypes. I think that's cool.
Yeah.
Can they still do that? That's still a thing, right? That never got removed.
For what?
For their ability to take different archetypes.
I'm
gonna look it up real quick because I'm curious about this.
What is interesting about them is that they're still struggling in secondaries. So maybe the GA2 dog has to come back. When innately we thought that they're kind of, some people are saying they're a nerf. Maybe it must have been a nerf because the team is way worse now than they were before, you know? So, and then we have Scout Squads up next. Scout Squad. The best name of any team. Do you think this is the best named team? Kill team name? Kill team?
It is the most understandable team name. What are they? Scouts. What's their name? Scouts.
It's the dumbest name.
It's so
literally
simple.
The dumbest.
It's so simple to understand.
It could have been like, you know, Recon Team 6, you know, it could have been like, what they have like 9 operatives or some shit, 10 operatives, like Recon Team 10, you know, Rainbow 6. Wait, no, can't do Rainbow 6. But Scout Squad, come on, good stuff, guys.
It'd have been cool.
What does the Scout Squad do, G?
They scout better. And it was like kind of cool. Like Rob made a good point. Like the game, I think it was Rob or Chris Bucky. One of them had said like the game is really played for them turn 0, and then after that they're just kind of like there.
Yeah, and we've seen some players do well with them, right? They had no. They have 2 top placings in the entirety of everything. They have 116 total games, which isn't a ton, but ultimately no one really has faith in this team. And they also are one of the lowest performing teams on, other than Vetguard, who is the lowest performing team on secondaries, which is saying something. The Scout Squad has the second lowest overall, sorry. Yeah, other than, I guess, Compendium and Intercession. Scout Squad is next. So their secondaries suck. I don't know, give them another wound, just give them a straight up another operative. You know, at this point in time,
make it a squad of 10. Yeah, why the hell is it a squad of 8 plus 1 guy?
Yeah, the fact that the team has 36% win rate is just like something drastic has to be done. +1 operative
And I think that's a legitimate fix. Like you're taking a 10-man scout squad. That feels right.
Yeah. I mean, that makes them actually play the game just a tad bit better.
Right.
But
extra body, extra damage.
But like, what do we do for secondaries that makes them any better?
An extra body helps them get secondaries.
I mean, it does. But does an extra body ultimately change the team from a 36% win rate to a little bit better?
Probably at least to like a 40.
Yeah, I mean, it has to make the team better, right? They can't just get a buff like Farstalker Kinban and then get worse, right? Because Farstalkers got a buff last Dataslate and they got worse.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why I thought Farstalkers could take multiple different TAC op archetypes.
They have Balance the Books, which Balance the Books allows them to, if you max out one of your secondaries, like, recover item, and before half of your team is fully dead, then you score your second, you score 1 point. And if you max your second one, then you max Balance the Books.
Right, which is kind of like that. But I don't know.
Giving them 2 more operatives does help with that, helping with them scoring secondaries. But scout squads, I don't know.
I think honestly adding 1 more operative just to make him a 10, because I think it's fine. 10 is fine. 9 is for elves. 10 is for people.
So here's the other thing. I think that wraps up our goals, wants, and wishes for the upcoming Dataslate. But some tournaments have been dropping roster requirements and only requiring roster requirements for like specifically Nova. Nova is requiring it for Inquisition, but they're getting more models that they can take. I think they're allowed to take 3 full secondary teams. Then there's Legionary, Intercession, and a few other teams that have to take it. But you know what doesn't have to at Nova?
What?
Chaos Demons.
Really?
Or any other compendium team. So there's a lot of shenanigans that can be taken when you start dropping roster requirements for tournaments, right? And when you change a really well-established rule as a TO, people will start to game the event, and it will ultimately lose credibility because of that. I'm not saying that. I'm just telling people to be careful if they start doing this, because there's other people that I've seen on Discords, other top TOs saying you don't really have to do that. And here's the thing. I would say 80% of the teams you actually do not need a roster for, right? But if you drop something from the game, right? If you don't bring a roster, it can spiral with all sorts of stuff, I just think that I think it's there for a reason. So we're not going to do it. I love the meme that just came out recently with me with the birthday hat on saying, did you submit your roster? I deserve that one.
I mean, hey, you ask it a lot, and most people do.
Yeah, most people do. They do. Yeah, so I don't know, man. It's interesting, to say the least. It's interesting.
It sure is. Stats are fun when you get a yell into a microphone.
Yeah, and if you guys like our buffs, of course, we're looking at it statistically rather than feel,
Desire,
do I feel like this team needs a buff? Do I feel like this team needs a nerf? No, we actually have the stats, so we're a little privileged in that aspect.
Shout out to David.
Yeah, shout out to David. Is there anyone out there, or if you guys disagree or agree with our buffs and nerfs, let us know. And if the Dataslate drops tomorrow morning, because we willed it into existence, then cool. If it doesn't drop for another month, then we just suck. So
or our manifestation was put on hold. It took some time for it to create. That's all that happened.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. We didn't believe. We wouldn't have believed hard enough, G.
Right.
We have to believe to make it real. Yeah. But also, there's not a ton going on in Kill Team right now, everyone. Is there anything that anyone would like us to talk about on the podcast, or hear anything, or hear our thoughts and opinions? Usually our Patreons give us some stuff, but if anyone else wants to do any kind of a shout out for anything, we'll always put those into the suggestion box and maybe pull a little Squad Games minute on some of those. So, yeah, it should be fun. It's exciting.
It is.
It's cool that just me and you are sitting here, G, talking tonight. We don't do a lot with just me and you. So
it's fun to have guests.
It is fun to have guests.
Yeah,
it is fun.
We'll get guests next time. Maybe. Who knows? If we manifest it.
Yeah, we have to manifest it.
Then I guess I'll do shout outs since we're here. Conversation. You can do so on Discord. There's show notes. You have the link that'll take you directly to the Discord. And feel free to share this with a friend who's playing Kill Team. Maybe they'll get something out of this too. Have them listen to the podcast. Have them listen to all sorts of cool stuff out there for Kill Team. And if you're thinking of helping us in a more personal way, we also have a Patreon. Those Patreon members help us make these episodes and other projects for you guys as well, in addition to bringing bigger and better tournaments each time. And we really appreciate everything that they do. And if you can't do that, don't even worry. As long as you're listening, that's more than enough. And don't forget, we're also on YouTube at Squad Games Entertainment. Right now we have our 3 episodes of Hobby Highlander, and we have the Meta Watch there, and a new one will probably come pretty soon since we're coming to that point of almost the data slate.
Absolutely. I want to shout out the All Valley Team Tournament. We're getting to that time of year, the end of September 20th. We have 3 golden tickets. It's our best event. We have 102 spots available. Make sure you grab your tickets. And we also have the Forged Brush happening as well. So not only does the All Valley Team Tournament have its own painting competition, but the Forged Brush is an outside painting tournament that we run as well. That will come out, and I think first place got an anvil last year, with the team on it. So it's going to be a blast. It's going to be a lot of fun. Forge Brush is going to be blast. I can't wait. We can't wait to stream it. We can't wait to see everyone. And then that Saturday night, we're going to also go to Draconum, which is a local bar, and eat some Irish food and drink. So if that sounds fun, if you guys want to go be a part of the community and get to meet people from all over the world, come on down to the All Valley Team Tournament. It's going to be a blast.
Yes. And when is that happening?
I think September 20th. I can double check right now.
There you go. It's a very fun time.
It is.
Of course, it's near a hotel, so there's plenty of, time to get some rooms. You could do that.
21st and 22nd of September.
There you go. Tickets available on lestersworkshop.com. The link is in the description of this, the show notes, if you will. Think we're getting to that time now.
I think we are, G. I think we are. And, I'm excited for the future of Kill Team.
I'm excited for the future of Kill Team. I'm really excited whenever we get a balanced data slate, because it feels like we get new teams released.
Gee, hobby question.
Uh-huh.
What are you doing right now?
So I've been working hard on my Night Lords. Like I've been
seeing pictures.
I've been getting them done. Like I'm close to having all 6 finished. For me, that's a huge achievement. Check that out on wargaming_studios on Instagram.
Gee, hold on. I'm going to take a picture and I'm going to send this to you. And then you have to tell me what you think. Hold on 1 second.
All right.
You'll be the first person to see this outside of sight.
Okay.
I teased a really shitty image on Discord, and everyone was like thinking it was like some kind of like notch deployment zone or something. But, it was an SVG of the layout and how I was going to cut it and stuff like that. What do you think of that?
Jesus. I wasn't expecting to see this thing. This is some shit straight out of Marvel Crisis Protocol.
You're not wrong.
No, this is cool though. I like this. Oh man.
So it is a 5-story brick building. And it's one of 2 different buildings that's going to be going on my display board.
These are cool.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty cool. I also have like a monorail. I've taken a lot of inspiration for taking a lot of inspiration for this from a guy on Instagram named Satoshi Akiri Jokishi. He's a diorama artist from Tokyo, Japan. Mm-hmm. And he did this amazing. So originally I was going to do a World War II inspired thing, right? And instead I went with my vet guard going to be fighting and killing, maybe not killing, but fighting brood brothers, right? And yeah, so the brood brothers are pretty much going to be in the sewers underneath. With the vet guard up on top, and a couple brood brothers like making their way up and around the vet guard in the diorama. And the above scene was going to be like a World War II winter type scene with broken brick buildings and stuff like that, like a war-torn world. But I saw this this diorama that this guy did, and he did this amazing oh God, what's it called? Gotham City. That was just fucking epic. Right. Mm-hmm. And, I just like fell in love with it. And I was like, yo, this is what I'm doing. So essentially I am doing a Gotham City style, 40K type thing. So it's going to be cool. It's going to be exciting. This thing took 27 hours to print in my frozen Mega S Sonic something. Took 27 hours to print. It's crazy. So
it's cool.
It's pretty cool, right? And this is the first one. The second one is printing. We'll be starting printing tonight and probably won't be done until like Wednesday. So, and it's not as tall though. It's not a 5-story. It's only I think a 4 or 3-story building.
Still pretty cool.
Yeah. Should be pretty cool. It's going to have lights and all sorts of stuff. I'm pretty excited. So, I will update those photos the closer I get to, having this come out. So. Yeah, pretty excited. Pretty cool.
I'm excited to see it come to fruition.
Yeah. G, are you going to be working on any diorama things, or are you just trying to finish a bunch of teams?
Mostly teams. If I have a little extra time, maybe I'll work on some dioramas.
Okay, cool. G, are you planning to go to any tournaments this year? Are you planning to go to Nova or anywhere else, or where are people going to be able to find you outside of our own tournaments?
Well, right now I've been talking with Alex Popov. Got to give him this one shout out. It's in his contract. We're thinking of going to Kill Scream. A few other people out here are going. So that one's a pretty simple travel. It's just go up north. So We're thinking that's one of the ones. There's another one that's in San Diego that's being run by Jimmy Kelly. We'll see if we go to that one. Mm-hmm. It could just be fun just to play, competitively. It's every now and then. So I get the urge. And I also like the breakfast burritos in San Diego, because it's closer to.
You can also go to your Crack Shack.
I can go to Crack Shack, yeah. Or if I can go to Orange County, it's a little closer. But if we're going to be out there, we may as well go to the tournament too. Yeah. So one of those two. How about you?
Looking at Nova, looking at Tacoma, and I'm looking at Kill Scream this year. So whether all 3 of those happen, we'll have to see. But Kill Scream for sure. Definitely want to help them get their numbers up as well. So doing that, and then we'll have to see about the other 2. So I'm like 90% going to the other 2, but it's just finances and all that kind of stuff.
Logistics.
Logistics, and also convincing the wife. So,
Yes.
but hell yeah, man.
Hell yeah.
You know, got to get our scores in for ITC. Got to get the Squad Games team banner up, you know?
Got to get my painting scores.
That too.
I never enter them because it's always like our tournaments is like, oh, that's tacky to win your own stuff or to try to win your own stuff, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so, you know, until next time, guys.
Until next time.
See ya.
See ya.
The Squad Games podcast is a production of Squad Games Entertainment. For more information on Squad Games, please visit our website at lestersworkshop.com/squad-games.